Hi, so now we're going to go through the very specific setting up an auction plan example. So I'm going to read through this and you can see all auction platforms vary, but when setting up your first auction, you need to have these details as below. So we'll go through kind of what we've used. This is just an example. This isn't going to, change things either way. But focus on the details. And this is a one-time thing. You set it up, you can copy it on your future auctions. So going through this, getting it done right the first time is really important. So naming, we'll start here, calling your auction whatever you would like, but recommend adding a date to that auction. So you can call it something fun, cutesy, and then add a date at the end, or you can just call it, auction number one, put the date in there, and then that way it'll help you sort and track the auctions to go back and look at them after the fact to see how you can track your performance and whatnot. Description, here's an example. We charge a 15% buyer's premium and all applicable state taxes. So auction terms and conditions I've spelled out here a little bit. Make sure that you are going through and doing your due diligence to make this right for you, right? This is just an example that we have, but I thought I'd share it with you so you could see kind of what we are doing. So terms and conditions, general auction terms and conditions. All sales are final, everything as is, where is. We've done it two ways. One, sometimes we have a new product, we give warranties on it up to 7 days. You can return anything. New open packages, we did the same way. So really do what's right for you. Most auction houses don't take returns, but they're very thorough in how they describe their products. So ensure that you're doing that so you don't tick people off and then they're a one-time buyer and then they talk bad about you or leave you a bad review. Don't want that, right? So here's some details as to what to look into. I won't read through all of this. You can screenshot this and do what you will with it. But you're going to need terms and conditions. You're going to need to account for registering here. This is going to give you an idea of what goes into someone going online and registering. So it's a different buyer, as I said. There's more effort. There's more intelligence in a lot of cases. They're going to do their due diligence on reviewing your listings, make sure that it is exactly what they want. But an auction buyer is an intelligent buyer, right? They're looking for the best deals. They know where to find them, and hopefully that's your auction and they're buying from you. So focus on the registration. Now I'll scroll down to payment. You're going to need to get your payments system set up so that you can receive payments. So focus on, PayPal at first is something you might use. You can use Currency Pay, Clover. There's a lot of different softwares that you could use to process your payments, but make sure that you get one set up so that it's going to take that information and process it accordingly. Getting prepayments is awesome. Sometimes people don't pay. There's a lot of things auction buyers will do, like they'll put it on a gift card that only has a set limit to get approved and in the auction, and they'll show up and pay in cash. That's the good piece. If they do that and they don't come in or they don't pay, now you have something on your hands where you might have to, you know, go after them, take them to court, charge them fees. All these platforms have a way to block bidders too. So if you're dealing with somebody who's just being a thorn in your side, you can certainly block them so that they can't keep taking advantage of you and locking up your bids. Um, Liability, you want to make sure that you're putting out a waiver and that you are insured, right? Because you're going to have people coming to your shop to pick up product. If they fall down, make sure you're covered. Talk to an insurance professional and make sure that your business is squared away. So this is all part of the initial setup. But now that you're here, you want to hold an auction, make sure you have insurance, because if someone gets hurt, it's going to come down to you. Fraudulent bidding, I told you, there it is, right? So people will take advantage of the less secure platforms out there, and they will put fake credit cards in, or gift cards rather, or they'll put credit cards in with very low amounts set on them so that they just don't have to pay. This can be a sticky for you, because if you're dealing with this often, it's costing you the money of the second best bid, right? And so you can hold these people accountable if you do have these sort of details written into your terms and conditions on your first auction. Make sure that you hold people accountable, right? So it can be very overwhelming at first. People will do this, and fortunately, it's about 1% of your bidders are going to cause this issue, but it does come up. So I want to prepare you for that and get you ready, so that you can establish a plan, whether it is to take people to court or go after them. That's on you. A lot of different companies around the United States do it different ways. So I don't have a perfect example here. You can just let it slide and relist it. We've done that a lot because we're pushing so many products through our auctions on auction fuel that we just don't have time to deal with going after people for $25 that they didn't pick up. But you can always contact the second highest bidder, see if they want to do it. That's the beauty of having this person's contact information. So it gives you an opportunity to do that. I'll scroll down here so you can see this. Pickup, removal. This is another thing. People sometimes they pay for things and they just don't pick it up, right? And that's okay, right? It's free money if they pay and don't pick up. So sometimes they'll not pay and not pick up. That's the double whammy, the fraudulent bidder that you want to get out of your bidder base. But many times folks will they'll buy things and it's just not worth it, right? So if you buy something for $1 and you have to drive across town to pick it up, you're just not going to do it, right? Or 5 or 10 or whatever that number is. Sometimes people just don't pick it up. So have a process in place to help you, pick past lots not picked up, and get them out of the way so that you can relist them and sell them. And make sure that you're on top of this because the products back up quickly. So if you're using the same set of shelves and you haven't established a way to get through your past lots and get them out of the way, you're going to have an overwhelming amount of products stacked up pretty quickly. So get that in line quickly for yourself. Buyer's tax set by the state you operate in. You're going to collect tax on sales. You're going to have to pay your taxes, right? So make sure that you're staying on top of that, keeping good accounting records. Hire an accountant if you need. Make sure that you're staying on top of this one way or another. Your buyer's premium. Again, this is what I've said before. The example here is that the standard for the auction houses is pretty well set. So buyer's premium is part of the game, right? If you are buying on auction, you can expect to pay a percentage increase for the luxury of buying things so cheap, right? And so this is something that you add on top. So if you're dealing with consigners, it's on top. If you're selling your own product, it's on top. The standard for buyer's premiums that we've seen in our experience ranges from 10 to 20%. Cut it down the middle, make it 15%. But remember, going too high on these can cost you sales because people might get to the point where they just won't bid past a certain level on a product. When they know there's an additional 20% on top, right, it's going to cost you one way or another. So kind of be reasonable there, but establish this to protect yourself and make holding online auctions a really valuable tool. Thanks for watching. Check out the next video.